I'm not a dealer, okay? And I never ever will be ever again, right? I'll never commit crime for financial gain. Ever again in my life will I ever commit crime for financial gain. I'll never be a dealer, I'll never be a gang member, but I'm not gonna guarantee you that I won't hurt someone very, very, very bad. Because you just can't tolerate certain things. You know, I've had my youngest child, Quintus, I've had him persecuted. The family home persecuted. I've had pictures of that 1-year-old kid be thrown around social media with a vibrator up his backside and in his mouth. This is a 1-year-old kid. This is what I'm having to deal with 3 years ago on social media, dealing rats. Do you think if one hair gets touched on a Laura's head, I'm going to take it? Do you think if one window gets smashed on a Laura's home, I'm going to take it? I don't give who's responsible for it. I've already got me targets. It can be Tom, Dick and Harry who does damage to my daughter. It's the same target as it was 5 years ago. Nothing's changed. Used to have been targets of my mind for time. And it doesn't matter if it's from down there that does it. You're held responsible. You're held responsible for everything that has happened to me since my release from custody. And if everything I've done to correct my ways is up, you're held responsible for it and you're going to pay for it. When they realise they're not getting to you with the restrictions and they're not getting to you with all these things that they've put in place about you, they start affecting everything else, so they get into it. And don't sit there thinking lying when I tell you they started with my housing rent. They started with my benefits. So all of a sudden I could wake up one morning and my benefit claims stopped for no reason other than I never replied to a message. Do you understand where I'm coming? Now, for someone that's turning their back on a life of crime, who used to make pure readies in that life, and if he went back in that life, he'd be making readies instantly because there's a body count waiting. There's bodies all over the place waiting to be took. Do you understand? You can be a millionaire in our city if you knew what you were doing in a year with the bodies that are available. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And what they try and do, they try and break the psychological strength of you, and they do it. You know, someone that's changed the whole life and is not living off any sort of criminal revenue is relying solely on your £315 a month off the universal credit. All of a sudden that stops. What's the first thing a criminal's going to do in that situation? So I mean, I was living in a house with candles for a month. No heating, no water. The benefits up on purpose. That's exactly what they want you to do, reoffend. But then you're caught in a dilemma because you don't want to go back to prison. You've changed your ways, but you've got no choice because you need to survive. You're alright, you can just about survive on your benefits, but it's enough for you not to commit crime. It's well enough, actually. The minute you haven't got that 325 quid every month, because that's what I was getting. They've upped it now. Get on this. I was getting 210. I don't know, eventually they put it up to 325 a month. Now, because of what's going on with me, homeless, having to move. I've missed an appointment at the job centre. Now, I don't normally get appointments at job centres because I've been in there and went erratic a couple of times, so they just tell me not to come near the job centre. Every interview is a phone interview with me. I've never stepped in a job centre for years. So, because I missed an appointment that should have happened by phone, by these, my claim got stopped. And then when I've gone in and said the issues and got it reinstated, they fined me. So when I'm getting me £325, I'm now getting £250 because they're taking £75 a month off me for something mad. Don't even know what it is. So for like 6 or 7 months, I'm living this 210, 220, and then I've got to pay lecky, and then I've got to give them weekly keep. Weird. And then I've got me kid. And that's how I was living. It's mad, isn't it? But as the years are going by, my mental health's deteriorating because they're not giving me diagnosis. I'm sick of trying to diagnose myself. I even asked Sean Atwood a year or two ago, because he's got a doctor, a psychiatrist that works with him. Just to get myself a diagnosis, I said to him, record it all and you can have the contents. Let him do a forensic psychiatric report on me, on camera, so I know what's wrong with me. And you can have the content for your YouTube channel. And he was going to do it. But the way they wanted to do it was a bit mad and scatty, so I said, I'm not doing it. Do you understand? But that's what I was willing to go to anyone to get a diagnosis. So all they tell me is you're dealing with anxiety and depression. That's what they tell me. And I'm a doctor, but I know I'm not just dealing with anxiety and depression. I know that. But they just try and palm you off with that. I've never took the medication, and I probably never will. Do you understand what I'm saying? I just need to know what is wrong with me. Tell me what's wrong with me and I can address it. If I'm in the blind, I can't do it, I'm just getting worse. Tell me what's wrong and I can address it. And if it can't be addressed because it's too, I can then seek the help. But it'll make it easier for me to live. Because at the moment, it's hard for me to live. My daughter keeps me alive, but she's never with me. It's weird. My fella's condition gives him anxiety and depression. That's not the problem. How do you feel about? Sorry to hear you were struggling, mate. Nah, I'm not struggling. It is what it is. You know, the mind's made up. It's either yay or nay. If the help doesn't come, it's a yay. You know, I'm not struggling with it. I'm fighting it every night. And when I'm fighting myself, I'll think to myself, if you're going to be a coward, at least take some cowards with you. So I won't be a silent one, lad. It's not going to be you're going to wake up the next morning and no one hears from me. You know what I mean? You're going to know it's gone. You're going to know it's my time. You know what I mean? The whole country will know it's my time. Don't you have 2 babies? No, just the one, mate. The mum decided I never had another one, so there's nothing I can do. Sean and Tay saying bipolar, maybe. Simon S saying go private, does. Well, mate. Do you know how much that would cost, mate? To get forensically analysed. It's Brewster's, lad. Could never pay it. Try and claim PIP. I've been trying for years. But what's happened is, when I was in Blackburn in 2017 in that hostel, I got my name changed by default to trainer But the benefit system wouldn't change the G name to trainer. And then when I've moved from Blackburn and I've got no idea anywhere, and the only idea I've got is my deed poll saying I'm Darren Trainer. So now all the doctors are calling me Darren Trainer. And that part of my medical file is down there under G somewhere, and they don't correlate the two for some reason. So the way there's loads of reports in Darren G to do with me mental health, there's none in trainer. So it's like I've got to try and convince them I've got mental health. It's like I'm trying to shout at them I've got mental health problems and they're getting worse and they're not believing me. That's what it feels like I'm not being believed here. And what happens with me, because there's the situations I was in and the grief was deep, and every time you go into a mental health thing for an interview, the first thing they want to know is about your childhood and trauma, and they try and bring you through a story. And what they're meant to do is bring you through this over a couple of sessions and bring you out of it. They had one session with me, opened all the can of worms and then left me. Got me speaking about all the trauma and all the grief to the point where I'm crying my eyes out walking out of this assessment room, and then left me. There was no second interview because I'd moved out of Blackburn and I'm in a different area now. So it's all start again process. So I start the process again, and then COVID kicks in, and then I've moved again, and now I'm here. I've had 2 appointments in the last 10 months and they've cancelled on me on the same morning. And now here I am 4 months after my last appointment that was booked and I was ready to go to, and they still haven't given me another one. So because the last few days I've been dealing with my mental health again, I've gone to my support worker and said I need this doctor's appointment, get on the phone for me. She's got on the phone and Dave said, oh, we haven't made you one because you never answered your phone. I said, well, can you make me one now I'm on the phone? He said, no, because we've got to have a meeting first. What have you got to have a meeting for? To decide when your appointment's going to be. Alright, so if my man rings and he's asking for an appointment, you're not holding a meeting on him, are you? No. So why are you holding a meeting on me? It's confidential. Do you understand the difficulty I've got here, people? I sat down with a psychiatrist for 15 minutes. She started crying and walked out the room. And a colleague that was learning. It's like they're using me as a space cuddy for students. You know what I mean? So I started with this Chinese psychiatrist in Osman House or something it's called, or Osborne House in Birmingham. It's about an hour from where I live. Osborne House is called, Google it. That's where I'm at, that's where I've got to go to see this doctor. And I haven't seen one since the last one, which was for 15 minutes. And that was the initial thing. You know, where you're starting at a new practice and they want to like induct you sort of thing and get to know you a little bit. I'm telling them about my childhood and what I've been going through and what I'm dealing with, and she starts crying and walks up the room and doesn't come back with a little student. So I meant to deal with this. And I laugh at it, but it's a crazy laugh, innit? What am I laughing at? Nothing's funny here. Do you understand what I mean? It's weird. It's strange what's going on with me. My mind's switching for the good or the bad.